they do the noise, yeah, the mess we make. Machine Bun Kelly get caught in the fake. Facts and logic with a twist of chest. Strip it down to truth, yeah, forget the rest. Humor blows the lies right out of the park. Look beyond the shadows that set the dark. Sparks of laughter fire up the night, bringing clarity when they blur the fight. Cut through the chaos, yeah, the tangled lies. Machine Bun Kelly with a set of clear eyes. Truths and jokes gonna rock this show. Step into light where the real facts glow.
Your horn is 100% legal. What the law protects and what the First Amendment did not mean to do that. All right. I was trying to find a different video. And anyway, it's been a day. Our power was out for a bit. And so it really threw a crimp in my day. But you know what it didn't do? Oh, hey, Rainbow, how's it going? Like one of my favorite followers of all is Rainbow Kitty. And speaking of kitties, I started late this time, so you're like right on time. Is that your first time hearing my intro song? Rainbow? Anyway. So do you want to come on, Kitty? Other Kitty? Rainbow Kitty? Or not Rainbow Kitty, Resistance Kitty. Okay. So anyway, purr. She's the perfect assistant. So, all right. It's a good thing Donald Trump's not here because he'd be grabbing everybody that's watching. Anyway, enough with the bad puns. Just because it's the pun show doesn't mean there has to be bad puns. So a couple of things. I wasn't, because of my power was out for a while. I didn't get as I wasn't able to work on my research and putting together the show. So this is definitely, I'll finish up the Bill of Rights and the Constitution tomorrow. But today I just wanted to talk about some things that happened last night and today, and just, we can discuss that. Whoever wants to chime in, chime away. This is going to be more of a free-for-all cast. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was Marco Rubio's so-called hearing this morning, which I think that the whole thing about hearings at this point is pretty much worthless. I can't recall the last time I really learned something at a hearing that was worth learning. It's not like there was anything revelatory about this. This was Republicans filleting Marco Rubio for Donald Trump porn or something. It was just completely pointless. But one thing I did pick up on, I didn't watch the whole thing because there's only so much of Marco Rubio I can stomach. But one thing I noticed is he kept talking about using the military when it came to the United States national interest. And the whole national interest thing, I found that interesting. It's not like our national security or national defense or in the interest of our national defense. It was just our national interest. So apparently now we can go out and we can do like military stuff on other countries that don't do the things that are in our best interest. Like the entire world has to do stuff in our best interest. Like, that's why we're running Venezuela now, and we won't use our military there as long as they continue to operate in our best interest, not Venezuela's best interest. our best interest. So the other thing he was uh, railing on about was this notion that somehow, for some reason that is beyond me, it is requirement that the United States gets to tell Europe how to spend its money now. Um, they're trying to say, oh well, Europe doesn't want to spend as much money on defense as we do. Well, you know what? Europe has a right. Every country in the world has a right to determine how much money it spends on defense. Like, you don't get to tell other countries how to spend their money. They would rather spend money on things like healthcare and retirement and their betterment of their citizens. Well, that's up to them. Now it's not just enough that you deprive Americans of healthcare. Now you want to deprive other people in the world of healthcare. I enjoy when the Dems come in with receipts and make them poop their pants. There are some there are some good ones. I don't know who was on that committee. Did if Senator Whitehouse is usually like one of my favorites. He usually comes in like knowing his stuff. Was he one of them, Patsy? Or yeah, he's usually good. Why have a hearing when all you hear is lies? Right. I mean, and it's like I actually a lot of times I just call them yellings because there's a lot more yelling than hearing going on. It's just it's especially with the Republicans, they just sit there and they and if there's a Democrat type person that is being questioned, then they just sit there and yell at them for 5 minutes. And then they ask a loaded question with like 7 seconds left to go. And then they say 2 words and then they go, reclaiming my time. They're more for sound bites than anything. Like with the whole Jack Smith thing. With Jack Smith, there was like, if you were to clock it, how much time did Jack Smith spend talking versus Republicans? It'd be like 95% of the time that Republicans were asking questions, they were just doing the talking. Oh, Marco Rubio contradicting himself? Well, I haven't been that shocked since the big fiery ball appeared in the sky this morning. Imagine voting for a Democrat or a Republican. Imagine not voting for a Democrat. I'm not saying the Democratic Party is all that, but right now your options are either vote for a Democrat or just descend into pure fascism. We have always been able to. Are you brain dead? I don't know what you're referring to. But no, I haven't always been brain dead. This is a relatively recent development. Don't come. They're not asking for money. When have they asked us for money? I mean, like this is part of the whole thing. Like I can tell that you don't really read or think much. I bet like no, they're not asking they're not asking the United States for money. When did they ask us for money? How much did they ask for? Oh, well. So Cat 9176 got ousted. I guess the kitty didn't like the cat. Sorry, sometimes I can see Resistance Kitty, but you can't see her, but she's got some great facial expression. It's because we have Marcy. I don't know what the question was. Trump plus Epstein equals predators. 16,000 fire victims in the Democrats and 16,000 fire victims houses the Democrats in California stole. I don't even know what that means. What do you mean they stole the house? You want? Okay. Hang on a second. Do you want to? Um, okay. Hey, Kitty.
I can tell you what that is because today's talking points, one of the things that they're talking about is this new executive order that Trump is signing, where he's completely taking over the. Do you remember where the wildfires were in California? Palisades, anyway,
Yeah.
he is now taking over the state and county areas, the way that they approve the building materials, and completely taking over the rebuilding of all the wildfire areas. And he's particularly mad because Newsom was going to require that parts of the areas that were rebuilt be built into affordable housing. And so he's all angry. And so there's all kinds of stuff today that's going to be anti Newsom that has to do with the wildfires and Democrats stealing houses from people and lowering the property value and just all kinds of garbage like that. So that's one of the big talking points today. So just so you know, the minute that comes up on the chat, you go, they get deleted because that's a bot, because that's on the top three.
That's one of the that's the they do this, right? Like this is actually,
yeah, I literally really, there's a list of talking points that the White House releases every morning. Mm-hmm. They release a set of talking points with certain words and phrases you're supposed to say if you're a propagandist for them. I get
or a congressman or a senator.
Right. I get hold of that through my journey in the morning when I'm prepping up my blog. And that's how I can spot them so fairly quickly by certain talking points that pop out.
That is worth knowing. So this is all just, and so I imagine that somehow this ties into somebody connected to Trump not making millions of dollars off of taxpayer money.
This is still, we are still trying to, first of all, he's wanting to Gaza it. Mm-hmm. Is what he wants to do. I mean,
like he wants to have control over this.
Yeah.
Who gets what houses.
The guy that's preaching states' rights is now taking all of that power out of the state.
Gotcha.
So just so you know, if you see that coming up,
at some point there's going to be some Trump supporter or some Trump surrogate that is going to get a contract for all of this stuff, or
it's already been negotiated. It's already there. So anyway, all right, I can go back on my little corner and you can mute me, my little corner, but we can stay for the facial expressions if you want.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can figure. This is like I said, this is not the most professional operation, but that's the beauty of it. Okay.
Yeah, we're just regular people. Oh, somebody said I'm blind. How cute. Guess what? Bye-bye.
Somebody said what?
This is why they called me a liar.
Oh.
So anyway, so that you know.
Okay.
Oh wow, we got a lot to get through already. So you were saying.
There we go. There we go. Then we've got a nice little. So then is that what you're talking about? The anyway, so we've got little Kitty and Big Kelly. All right. So oh, and then you can just go on mute, and once you're already on mute, I guess. And then just unmute yourself whenever you want to say something. MAGA loves to lie. They attack California at every turn. They accuse Democrats of attacking the state they defend from angry MAGA. It's not about left or right, honestly. I don't care if you call it left or right or whatever. What I do care about is people getting health care. What I do care about is like not murdering citizens on the street. What I do care about is not taking away people's constitutional rights. Whether that's left or right or center or whatever, that's what I care about. And, you know, whether or not the government sucks or whatever is all about, that's just like, and that's not even a real conversation, because government, you can't have peace without government either. You can't have healthcare without government. Like anarchy and just everybody running around doing whatever they want isn't going to help anybody either. We need city streets, right? So I mean, it's just like this kind of conversation is not helpful. MAGA troll, bot, paid Russian troll. What's the difference? True. Republican senator, Republican congressman. I do what I've been thinking for a while now, Mr. State Rights, taking state rights away. Thank you. Okay. Idiots like Trump making billions from inside deals and bribes. Openly selling pardons. I agree we are screwed as a country with idiots like Trump. I mean, like I think that we need I welcome the day when we can come back to like having debates over things like capital gains taxes and not why is it okay to murder American citizens on the city sidewalk. Do you think Trump ever? I don't think that Trump is capable of playing Fortnite, in all honesty. It's, I love Trump. Nobody's going to gain from it ever. Just learn, sit there and learn from your superiors. Both sides prefer their form, but no, it's not. That's really a non-starter. Yeah, well, I am advocating for government. I believe that we need government. Yes. It's all too corrupt. TOO corrupt. I think we need less corruption in government, but I still think we need government. A bare minimum government. Well, what is the bare minimum, though, right? That's kind of just begging the question. I think that we need as much government as we need. And I don't think we need any more government than that. But I think we, like for all of that, then I think this is the conversation. Let me tell you a story. I like to tell stories. This one is a cool story. I lived in Liberia when I was in high school for my sophomore and junior years, and I wrote for the newspaper, the high school newspaper. It was called the Lunge Echo, and my dad was a diplomat, and so one of the things that I wanted to do was like get to know the politician, the people that were high up at the embassy, and there was a man named Marshall McCauley, who was the political officer at the embassy in Liberia. And it was in 1983. And in 1982, there had been a coup thrown by a guy named Samuel Canyon Doe. And Doe was playing poker and heard these coup plans from some officers. He stole the coup plans. And then he, along with some of his other enlisted buddies, who were mostly illiterate, stole the coup plans through the coup themselves, murdered the existing government on the beach and televised it on live TV. So anyway, I got there about a year later. And Marshall McCauley was the political officer there. And I was interviewing him about his job and everything and just getting to know what he does. And he was telling me about how he was helping Liberia write its constitution, which that's where this story gets interesting. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody that actually was helping to write a constitution, actually helping to form a government? And he asked me, if you were going to write a constitution for the government, for a government, would it be exactly like the US Constitution? If you were to start from scratch and write a new US Constitution, would it be exactly like what it is? And these were like mind-blowing questions. They still, to me, are mind-blowing questions, but definitely mind-blowing question to a guy that was in 10th grade or 11th grade at the time. Forget which one it was. Anyway, that's a question I've entertained now for over 40 years. What would you do if you were going to start a government? Because I think that's the question not enough people ask. Because questions about how big the government should be or how small the government should be, is it too big? Is it, all comes down to what is the role of government? What should the government actually do? Right? We need a government to pave the roads. There are some things where they are just not profitable individually. Certain infrastructure things. There are other things that are profitable, but can also have a deleterious effect on the population. So when you're talking about things like protecting the environment, and you're talking about like what the Aaron Brockovich type stuff, right? Well, it's more profitable for this one company to dump all this chemicals into the river and give everybody cancer that lives there. But it's not in the best interest of the people that live there. So who determines what can be dumped into the river and who follows to make sure nothing is getting dumped into that river? If you don't have government, nobody can do that. So what about, national defense and military defense? And then do we all benefit the same from military defense? Or does somebody like Elon Musk, who has $500 billion, have more at stake, more to protect than me, who, doesn't have $500 billion? I won't say how much I have, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's how much do we do? How much should the government do? Who regulates it? How is it regulated? Who pays for it? Should we have a progressive tax, since some people actually get more, or a regressive tax because the rich people make the rules? Like, all of these things are like really valid conversations. How do we protect ourselves from corruption? How do we punish people who commit crimes? How do we determine what crimes are? All of these questions are what the government does, right? So we need government. But before we determine, whether something is too big or too small or minimal or maximal or whatever, we first need to understand what is the government. And I don't think, or what is the role of government? What should the government do? What shouldn't the government do? Should the government tell you who you can have sex with? Should the government tell you what kind of healthcare decisions you should make? Like, those are other questions. And we don't discuss enough about what the actual role of government is. And we talk too much about the minutia of government without actually having first formed a real opinion on the core concept of government. So a bare minimum government, I think we need a government that needs to do enough, but first we need to figure out what the boundaries are. What do we want the government to do? Anyway, sorry to go off on a monologue about that, but I think it's a fascinating conversation that I wish more people would have. Rights are always left. That's kind of that should be a t-shirt. Rights are always left, and the left are always right. Boom. Today was Holocaust Day. I did not know that. Thank you. Government doesn't own the roads. Okay. Government doesn't own the roads. Those roads belong to taxpayers. Well, who do you think that the government is? Do you think the government is the people that we elect? No, the government is the representatives that we put in charge of those roads. I mean, saying that the government doesn't belong to the government, even the Constitution says what? The government is of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? We, the people. Like, the government is the people. I don't know what the difference between the people and the citizens are. Government also has a track record of helping citizens. This isn't about whether or not the government exists. Fire has a history of hurting people. Do we get rid of fire? Fire also can help people. Trump 34 felonies, a 19 rape, found guilty. You should be put in jail. Maybe so much happening globally. Deflation does mean the lowering. Deflation means, deflation means lowering prices. It's the opposite of inflation. If prices are going down, there's deflation. Or if you pop one of the tits of one of the women at Mar-a-Lago. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's like, oh my goodness. My wife one time, she was my wife is sort of I don't want to say naive, but she's sort of innocent. She doesn't get into, like, she's into the politics, but she's not into the culture aspects of this whole thing, the whole, social media and just, so she was going somewhere and she came home and she was like, I was on the, it's so funny. Sometimes she'll make these observations that, like, are just hilarious. Like, so she came home one day and she's said, the weirdest thing happened. I was on this elevator and it was like these 5 women that all looked like they were trying to look like Melania. And I was just like, oh, you don't know about this trend, huh? Like, all the MAGA women are now trying to plastic themselves into being Melania. Oh, speaking of which, the movie, I wanted to do a look. I don't know who wants to see that movie. Apparently nobody. I've heard, like, there was like one guy in England. I made this little meme. He's wearing a trench coat for a reason. The only guy that wants to see it is like a Pee Wee Herman type, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I haven't met a single person that wants to see that movie. Not even MAGA wants to see it. Russia, China, even Europe will gain from Trump's. Yeah, go ahead. Like, just saying stuff doesn't make it true. Barack Obama lowered the deficit of 21 days. Yeah, he lowered the deficit. I don't think those numbers are quite accurate, but the debt went up, obviously. Tom Brady knows about deflation. Yeah, he does. Somebody is not a New England. Who do you want? Are you cheering? I assume you're cheering for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. That's exactly my point. Like, we need as much government as we need. That was a deliberate tautology. And like, we need to figure out what our government does and then make the government that we have fit what the government needs to do. That's my point. Like, we don't know how big the government should be until we figure out what the government should do. Should the government provide for people to have health care? Like, not necessarily pay for the actual health, like, or like provide the actual health care, but provide the means to have the health care. Like, is that, if somebody's fundamental understanding of something government should do? And if so, why? Like, I think that, like, my core principle of government is government should help the country to thrive. Like it should do what helps the country thrive and to grow and is in the best interest of the people of that country. And one of those things that does all that is healthcare. So on a fundamental principle, I think that a fundamental core aspect of government is providing the means for healthcare. I also think things like any individual should be able to go as far as their ambition and capabilities take them. So if somebody has the potential to get a PhD, then they should be able to do that. The means should be there, and that should be one of the functions of government, is to provide those means. Because I think that if they become a PhD, then they are able to contribute back more to the country itself. So I think that goes to the betterment of the country. So anyway, I think we start with things like student loan forgiveness or whatever, as though that's the end of the conversation. No, that's not that but we never had the beginning of the conversation. The beginning of the conversation is, should government be involved in providing education? And I think fundamentally, yes, because I think that the more educated the population is, the better that is for the country. Okay, that's kind of, I don't know. There's just nothing substantive to that. Bill Clinton left office with a $3 million surplus, the only president in history that ever affect the economy, the greatest deflation. I think in a lot of ways, Bill Clinton was a hugely underrated president. If you hate peace and prosperity, I can understand why you would hate Bill Clinton. But, like we had massive GDP growth. The unemployment was great. Like the economy had thrived, and we didn't have any peace. Plus, there were some things he did along the lines of, I think he paved the way for a lot of the things like gay rights and stuff. He went as far as he could with that, but he was the one that began to change that conversation with don't ask, don't tell, which, of course, by the time Obama came around and ended it, that was like, it was considered bad. But at the beginning, like when I was in the Air Force, they used to run sting operations to bust the gays. So don't ask, don't tell was huge at that, like a huge step in the right direction. Bill Clinton, the only president in history that ever fixed the economy. I think FDR probably has an argument there. Well, deflation is shrinking prices. And I mean, like, technically, if things are going down, then that's law of supply and demand, means there's not enough demand. When it means supply is exceeding demand. So if prices are going down, it's usually not because it's not going to make people wait to get things. Is the cat hungry? Oh, is that kitty or my kitty? Huggy Bear is my cat, and he has actually crashed the show and demanded food before, so I don't know if you were here for that. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but are you hungry, Resistance Kitty? Resistance Kitty says she's not hungry. Okay, just to let you know that. Okay. When I was conscripted in the late 80s, we as German soldiers had to visit the Bergen-Belsen, a concentration camp. Wow, 18 years old, nice uniform, drunk, and then this. Wow, Halbeck, I didn't know you were from Germany originally. Interesting. Are you still in Germany? I think I know. Kitty, you're from Germany, right? Originally? She says, Das ist richtig. or something like that. Probably a bit of an accent there, but anyway. Republicans are stupid. Every Democratic president in history. Okay. I don't know why we're maybe lose the Second Amendment if you're starting with the Constitution. Yeah, I don't know if we need if that needs to be a right anymore. So okay, yeah. I'm from Brazil.
We sure need it right now. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. Well, now all of a sudden the Republicans aren't going to want it. I'm from Brazil. How American people voted from Trump. What part of Brazil are you in? I used to live in Brasilia. My dad still lives there, outside of Rio, up in the mountains. I can't remember the name of the town. I just read your private chat there. Let's just say that Kitty does not want to watch the new Melania movie. I can't give you there isn't even a PG rated version of her comment. Government should provide infrastructure. Infrastructure is yeah, okay. So that's one thing that, and I think that this is actually like a real, I wish we could have more conversations like this. And like I've actually really had some really good conversations with libertarians about this. Because then after that, it's like, why or why not? Like, not just off the cuff, why this thing, but like, what is your, what is, like in one concept or in one sentence, conceptually, what is the government for? What should the government do? Right. And so then this is like, this is a second thing. Like, you're right about the FDA and our food is filled with chemicals causing all kinds of, right. So then it's not a question of whether or not the FDA should be doing, like what the FDA, whether or not the government should be regulating these things and protecting our food supply. It's why aren't they? And then that's where we as voters need to like be more aware of things. And it's just possible, for instance, that the guy who had a freezer filled with roadkill is not the guy that should be making these decisions. Yeah, the world sees that as being destroyed bit by bit right now. Oh, wow, we got a bunch of comments pouring in here. Fundamentally, democracy means that the losing side does not have a right to physically stop the federal government from enforcing the law. I don't know what that has to do with anything. What is that? What does that even mean? Nobody's physically stopping the federal government from enforcing the law. And the winning side doesn't get to do it either. I mean, this is nothing. This is just seems like propaganda speak. Hey, Brett, welcome back. Glad to see you again. I'm so happy. We're trying to, just for your information, you will be happy to know that we have, Kitty now is like my mod, and she's takes care of the, she's been taking care of the chat, and you'll notice it's gotten a lot better. We've kind of filtered out the trolls. I'm not even, when it gets to Netflix or whatever, I am never, ever, ever going to watch that movie. I would rather like pour kerosene in my eyes and set it on fire. Like, there is nothing ever in the history of my entire 58 years of existence on this earth wanted to do less than watch that movie.
I have a plan. I'm going to let it play just long enough so I can give it a thumbs down.
Oh, there you go. There's an idea. Like just somebody said they heard the trench coat. I see, and I thought it was original. But anyway, I made the meme. The meme is me. I'm the big mean machine. It's been a while. Yes. Why watch it at all? Tim Pool's gonna go see it. Oh my goodness. There's a mental image I don't need. Tim Pool sitting there all alone in the movie theater, his popcorn set aside on the seat next to him, furiously hammering away to the Melania Trump movie. Of course, you know, Fandango website will show physical seats that are sold or reserved. The whole theater is empty at all
She's
shows.
really not Tim's type. So he's just going for the paycheck.
Oh, is he actually going to it? Did he say? Yeah.
I'm sure all of the right wing.
Oh, wait. Are you saying she's not Tim's type because she is a she? Gotcha. Melania's movie is bombing LOL, but she pocketed more than half of the budget already. Yeah, it was like $40 million for that. Like, and I mean, people are asking, why would anybody think this is a good idea? And it's 75 million. But I think it was like 40
the
million,
marketing cost,
$40
with the
million
marketing
for the rights or something.
Yeah. Plus the marketing cost, because they paid like 35 million just to get it into theaters.
And I guess as long as the theaters make their money off of it. I am so excited of flopping. There was the first, like when I first saw the trailer, I was watching like Morning Joe, I think, the first time I saw the trailer. And it was like on a Monday. And so I was literally like, I had no idea. I thought the show was coming back on. I thought, that Morning Joe was getting ready to come back on. And Morning Joe sometimes will take clips from Saturday Night Live that they intro the next segment with. And I thought that the trailer was actually a segment from Saturday Night Live that they were, and I was like, this is hilarious. And then it ended up being real. Like I really genuinely, the first time I thought I saw the trailer, thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit. Noam blaming Miller, Miller blaming Noam, Trump blaming Miller and Noam, Melania blaming Miller and Noam for her movie results. I didn't know about that. It's hard to keep, like sands through the hourglass. So are the days of our wives.
Did you happen to see the meth video that Kristi Noem ran while she was governor of South Dakota?
No.
The one that said on meth. Oh,
where she was on meth?
No. You'll see.
It was about meth. If you find it, we can throw it on there because we don't have anything planned today. Rainbow Kitty doing. Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. Gold is up to $300 today. Generally, when gold is up like that, it means that there's no confidence in the economy. Could be better. I'm so done with Missouri. The majority of the people here are absolutely horrible. I would invite you to come live in Texas, but well, I live in Texas. Go to Minnesota. I used to live in Minnesota, and like I am so proud of that state right now. The courage of those people.
Did you see the new song that The Boss released today about Minnesota? Sarah?
Me?
Oh, I'll send you the link. Hold on.
They don't like Bruce Springsteen anymore. They used to play Born in the USA unironically, not recognizing that the song itself is ironic. They don't listen to they don't know anything about the songs that they play. Like yesterday, did you see this one? There was they had this person come out to introduce Trump, and they were playing Macho Man, and then she was talking about how he was like just the most macho man of all the macho men in the history of macho men. And I was just like, you did like you do realize that's the gay anthem, right?
He literally closes every speech with a circle jerk dance to a gay anthem.
It's like
Every one of them.
They have no idea. All right, you want to? I don't know if we can watch this. I was about to play it, but I don't think I can play it without, because I'm monetized, so copyrights and all that. Man, I got busted.
You can share it in the chat so everybody else can listen.
We can do that. So if anybody wants to listen to it, you can listen to it. I'll drop it in the chat. All right, so when I first saw that picture of Melania with the flat hat next to Jim Carrey at the mast, I burst out laughing. The very, like you probably remember I Spy or whatever, the I Spy guys. The very first time I saw that, all I could think of was the I Spy guys. They are such stupid clowns. Before they ran that ad. Now you know why I had to show you. Whoever came up with that idea was obviously on it. In the 90s, I literally thought Macho Man was a straight dude song. Yeah, well, once it has definitely been co-opted for at least 30 years now. I mean, and once you kind of start knowing who the Village People are, like when it came out, I think it was in the 80s when it came out, or was it even the 70s, maybe like late 70s. So when I first heard it, I thought it was about being, like a big burly tough guy too, until you see the Village People and instantly you know that it's not a straight person song. And then she shot her dog. What? That's as dumb as the Nancy Reagan slogan, just say no. That's like just say yes. Right? Like on it, like just say yes. Oh, so you know what? Nancy, this is a perfect segue into the whole thing I wanted to talk about, which I think I have. Thought I had. Is this it? Here, this one. Okay.
Must resign or face impeachment.
Okay, so I want to watch this. You probably heard about it, but I wanted to tell you, point out for you my favorite part of this whole thing. Like, not that you should have a favorite part, but this is what I love about. Okay, watch her right arm. Did you see that? And there's other angles. She was swinging. If they hadn't pulled her back, she would have been beating the crap out of that dude. She did not back down in the least. So I thought that was pretty badass. I thought that was pretty cool. I did not think that it was cool that she was physically assaulted and attacked with this whatever the guy was spraying. Nobody knows yet. But especially considering what has been said with everything that's going on with Donald Trump, with his slandering her over and over again, with his slandering Somalia over and over again, with the whole, like Somali are, fraudsters are ostensibly the pretext for sending all these ICE operations into Minnesota. It's all tied together in the weird Republican MAGA psychosis. Even though they have, I mean, none of it hasn't. You know how many, Kitty? Do you know how many some illegal immigrants have been busted for fraud in the whole Minnesota thing? Zero.
None that I'm aware of. Like I've been looking each morning and I haven't found any.
Not one.
Some white people have been doing the fraud.
Yeah, and there have been some Somalis in the fraud, but those are American Somalis. And there's also, believe it or not, there's also a whole lot of Somali people that had nothing to do with the fraud. And it's just this, and then she's Somali, and and then you've got she's a naturalized Somali. She is an American citizen, and Donald Trump has talked about taking away her citizenship. He has smeared her and attacked her, and then the whole fraud thing. This was only a matter of time that somebody would physically assault her. And so I got to thinking about, remember when Charlie Kirk got shot? And all the Republicans, they kept talking about, well, this is all because of the violent rhetoric from the Democrats. It's all the violent rhetoric from the Democrats that is responsible for this. And the more I think about it, you got something? You got to unmute yourself.
You want to hear about leftist violent rhetoric? Today, somebody reported me to the FBI because I said we needed to 86 this lawmaker. And what we know what 86 means, right? Like everybody is fully aware of what 86 means.
Yes.
Because let me show you the videos real quick of we're the violent ones. Okay. Hold on. Let me do the share screen. I'm still learning this. Please be patient.
Oh, that's okay.
I think it's that one. Yes. All right. So I'm going to put the voice.
It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended. It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended.
Okay, so that was one, right?
Who is the crazy chick?
Her name, she's I want to say Veronica Gomez, but that's not quite right. It'll come to me in a second. But she's a congresswoman in Texas.
Oh, is that the loony?
Yeah, the loony. But this and I literally shared. I'll show you. Oh, you can probably already see. That's the person that said A6 means to kill, to murder, and someone reports this bitch, referring to me. Let me see. I think I have one more video that I showed that was showed.
The one that just she was sitting there shooting, like,
oh, here's
like
another
murdering people in effigy.
here.
And you're the one that's being violent.
Yeah. By the way, she's a Colombian immigrant And this was the part that I was upset about, the original video that I posted that I was upset about, because she is a Colombian immigrant.
Republican, and I don't like guys. I love them. And if you're an ICE agent here in I'm a Republican, and I don't like guys. I love them. And if you're an ICE agent here in Texas, I have some white monsters ready for you boys, because I want you caffeinated and motivated so you can deport every scammy Somalian, every terrorist Muslim, and every Haitian that is eating our dogs and cats. I stand with my ICE agents. And when you boys see this, let me join a raid so I can put the handcuffs on an illegal. I'm a Republican, and I don't like guys. I love.
Oh, whoops.
So
yeah, she seems stable. So you got you got you're the one that got banned for that, or got?
I didn't get banned. I just, somebody was reporting me to the FBI and was trying to get other people too.
So
For saying that somebody that people, you guys need 86er, meaning I say that about all the elections. It's time to 86 this one. Let's move on to the next one.
So that reminds me, I had an idea. You know that I'm an Amazon affiliate now, and I was trying to figure out how I could use my powers for good instead of evil. And so what I did is I went ahead and I found the cheapest ice pick that I could find. Here, I'll show you. All right, and this is what I'm going to do. All right, here. And I just dropped my affiliate link to that. So this is my idea. This is the ice pick. Any commission I get off of that ice pick, or any other ice pick that you end up buying, if you wanted to get a different one, any commission I get off of ice picks, I'm going to send to the ACLU to defend immigrant rights. And so, you know, the link is in there. Go ahead and click the link if you want to support the cause. But I think it would be awesome to make Jeff Bezos pay for immigrant defense. That's my idea anyway. What do you think? So, but while we've got this open, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at I did manage to throw this tab together real quick. And I was just thinking of the contrast between how Republicans responded, and including Donald Trump, how Republicans responded when Charlie Kirk got assassinated versus when Omar got attacked last night. Omar, or with Charlie Kirk, remember all they were talking about, that it was the violent rhetoric of the left, even though they can never ever quote anything the left said that was like violent rhetoric that encouraged people to. Nobody on the left was encouraging violent rhetoric, but somehow somebody on the right said somebody on the right, and it was somebody on the left's fault. But anyway, I was thinking about the comparison, and I thought, how many of these people have since come out, after the attack on Omar, how many have come out and actually criticized Donald Trump for his violent rhetoric against Omar? And the reason I just thought of it in this context is the Luna is like, Luna and Mace are two of the worst offenders of all when it comes to this. So it's like a perfect segue. Let me go back. So on September 10th, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was shot and killed during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. Republicans immediately blamed Democratic rhetoric without knowing the shooter's motive. Last night, Representative Ilhan Omar was sprayed with an unknown substance during a town hall in Minneapolis. The attack comes hours after Trump mocked her in Iowa amid his weeks-long campaign, calling Somali people garbage. So these are just some quotes. The representative Anna Paulina Luna, after the Charlie Kirk thing, every damn one of you called us fascists did this. You were too busy doping up kids, cutting off their genitals, and including violence. You effing own this, she said on the House floor. She shouted it out. Representative Nancy Mace, Democrats own what happened today. When asked about violence against Democrats, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. Representative Derek Van Orden accused reporters of being responsible for this because you're echoing the horrifically horrible political violent rhetoric that's being produced by the Democrat Party. They always feel like they have to say Democrat Party. They can never say Democratic Party. Like, it's just, why don't we just start calling it the Republic Party? Because it's so dumb. We have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of the left-wing extremism. Part of the reason why Charlie Kirk was killed. President Trump said that the rhetoric, the extreme rhetoric, was part of the reason Charlie Kirk was killed. They never, when they talk about this, I never once saw a single example of left-wing rhetoric that was part of the, alleged cause. I never saw any evidence that this guy listened to anybody on the left. This is all just circulated over and over again. There's not even any evidence that he was left-wing, or he is. We talk about him like he's not alive anymore, but he's still alive and sounds a lot more like, what's his name? The Nazi guy, Nick something or other. Hang on a second. Can't think of his name. Who's the fascist guy? Anyway, somebody knows who I'm talking about. But it sounds like the guy was more the guy that is so straight that he likes trans women, to prove that, like, he loves women. He's so confident in his masculinity that he has to go for trans women or something. And so then there's some evidence that the whole thing about the trans people, like this guy, the guy that shot him, that shot Kirk, was a listener of this guy, a regular listener of this guy, and like all the bullets were sayings from his show and stuff like that, all the engravings on the bullets. Anyway. So there's all this violent, like as soon as Kirk was shot, that was all the violent rhetoric from the left.
Are you talking about the Graper?
Yeah, the Graper. What's his name?
Hold on. I'll tell you in just a second. It's
Nick Fuentes.
Fuentes. That's what it is. Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. He's just like anyway. He's like so straight. He's gay.
Like
he's
the Tate twins and that other propagandist that got fired from mainstream news. Oh, that's gay, and like his wife sits and cries at events because he's always servicing young boys. Oh,
I don't know about
Benny.
Oh, is he?
He's another one. Yeah.
I wonder if he and Jesse Waters have ever been together. Jesse Waters has definitely got like some serious closeted issues happening there. And I mean, it's fine, be you, but
process your hate with your therapist, not on Americans, please.
Yeah. A little. See, so this is what, and you got people like, a little liquid is not an attack. So if somebody were to go up there and spray a liquid on Donald Trump, do you really think that you would be
I
saying
was just going to say, can I go spray my liquid butt juice all over Donald Trump and have it be okay?
no one condemned it? Turnabout is fair play. What turnabout? See, this is exactly my point. You guys are just like, it's all like as soon as Omar gets attacked, then it's like you totally reverse course. You're just like sitting there. Why don't you just buy an I'm a hypocrite t-shirt? Because you know what? First of all, left-wing rhetoric did not provoke the Kirk attack. Number two, if it did, I would have condemned that rhetoric, but you can't even identify what the rhetoric is. Guess what I have here? I have receipts. That's what I have. This is what these same people are saying about Omar attack. Okay, so first of all, like Nancy, wait, where did I not put? Okay, yeah. These are some of the things that people have said about, or that Trump has said about Omar. I don't want them in our and Somalis. I don't want them in our country. Let them go back where they came from. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. Those aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go. Come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. With Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and they don't want them in our country. They contribute nothing to the U.S. They've destroyed our country. She should be in jail, or even worse, a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia, considered one of the absolutely worst countries in the world. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman. And I'm sure people are looking at that, and she should be thrown the hell out of our country. Hours before she was attacked, they have to be proud, not like Ilhan Omar. And then afterwards, today, I don't think about her. I think she's a fraud. She probably had herself sprayed, knowing her. So all of this talk, all these right-wing nut jobs, you know, MAGA Muppets, they all had nothing but, you know, just empty, hollow declarations about how the left violent rhetoric was the reason that there were attacks on Omar, or that there were attacks on Kirk, or that Donald Trump was, you know, there was this assassination attempt against Donald Trump. But as soon as it's a Democrat that's attacked, then it has nothing to do with the daily visceral attack on Omar by the president of the United States. That has nothing to do with it. You know, and then it's like, oh, it was staged. Why would this guy, who was like such a Trump fan, he had Trump as his profile picture on Facebook, why is he cooperating with her? Like, I saw so many stupid comments. Like, sometimes it's like, I really wish MAGA could think for like more than 1/zillionth of a second. One of the stupidest arguments I saw is like this whole, have you seen the she made eye contact with him thing? Like all these MAGAs that are like, oh, she made, like, you can see the eye contact here. So you're saying that she was sitting there speaking in front of a group of people, and then somebody started standing up, and because he was making a commotion, she looked in his general direction like absolutely any human being would. And to you, that means there's this kind of conspiracy going on that goes back like how long? Like, this guy has a Facebook page. He has a profile. He has a history. He's been faking it all along so that on some random day in January of 2026 that he could stand up and go and spray something at her. We don't know what he tried to spray on her. We don't know why he did. But you can make a reasonable conclusion that it might have to do with something to do with what Donald Trump said, considering he had Donald Trump as his profile picture and considering that Donald Trump was consistently attacking her. That in his own state, ICE agents were running around attacking Somali people based on this fake fraud thing that went happened with Nick Shirley. And not one person, well, actually, there were a few, to give her credit. Nancy May said that it was unacceptable, regardless of how vehemently I disagree with her rhetoric, and I do. No elected official should face physical attacks. On the other hand, Anna Polina, who consistently attacked her beforehand, has not said a single thing. So, you know, where's your consistency, MAGA? You sit there and you go, oh, well, the turnabout is fair play. Well, what is the turnabout? Please tell me what the violent rhetoric from the left was. Calling fascist is not violent rhetoric. And it's like, not like you haven't spent the last 40 years calling everybody to the left of Adolf Hitler a communist. Okay. How was she inciting violence against her? Oh, you're asking. Yeah, I really have no idea where they get that one. Okay, so all right. Well, turnabout is fair play. That's like you know what we need to do? We need to start having what do you think, Kitty? Having like a stupid comment of the day award. And then like at the end of the show, we can decide who gets stupid comment of the day.
We'll call it a Darwin Comment Award.
The Darwin Comment Award, right?
Darwin Comment Award.
So I think that one should be go in the, because I feel like sometimes they're so stupid they deserve extra highlight. So that one's our first nomination.
So we have somebody who's just popping in wanting to this is also one of the talking points. It was distributed last week, so this one is not even a very good bot. You all wanted to lock up people for not taking the jab over here. That one.
They're bringing that one. Is it what? Where is that one coming from?
We've gotten rid of enough trolls that now they're like, oh shit, we got to get this loaded up with more trolls. Oh, excuse my language. Oh, hiss.
But I mean, like that's one of the. I mean, like, why are they going back to that old saw?
Because they don't have a rational conversation to have with what we're talking about.
They got to get back to the old standard. Me too. No, I am.
Oh, he doesn't think we want to talk about anything.
Yeah, the Melania movie was a bribe to Trump. And it was like, remember we talked about this on the show one time. There were like 3 different companies that bid on it. And I think one was Paramount, one was Bezos, whatever. And the other one was a third. All of them had deals pending. The Trump thing. So they all had an incentive to you know, like this was clearly part of some other deal. I banned bullies. Kitty's got claws. All I'm telling you. I ended up letting her decide who gets banned because I'm too nice. She's not. She will scratch you if it's toxic and lethal. And you don't know what's in it, you know, at the point. The point is that somebody got up and tried to spray her. The point isn't that there's, like what's in it. Like you're okay as long as it's not lethal or something. Lil Boom repo. Oh, hi, Lil Boom. You know the difference between Lil Boom and Trump? Lil Boom is just Lil Boom, but Donald Trump always makes a little boom boom in his pants. Sorry. I can't help it. I used to, when I was at my old job, when I was a trainer, we'd every time new people came through, I have a memory trick where I remember people's names by thinking of puns for their names. And so to make sure I remembered their names, I would always think of a pun to do with their names, and some of them were pretty good. But then my other coworker that was also a trainer was like, people can get offended if you make puns out of their names. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. But anyway, some of them were good. I tried to make them nice puns, but Lil Boom Boom might not be a nice pun. So I'm sorry, Lil Boom. I am the only one allowed to do that hiss. I don't think it's honest to say Alex Preddy, brandished a weapon. And I don't think it's honest to say he's assaulting an officer. Yeah. Rand Paul is actually, I don't agree with him philosophically on what the government should do and shouldn't do. I have major philosophical issues with him, but I don't have moral issues with Rand Paul.
He's actually kind of been, I've seen him do some growth, actually, believe it or not. I don't want to say that to jinx it, but there's been some growth there over the last few years. Him and Massey both have had some growth.
Like he's logically consistent in what he believes. Like he would condemn Venezuela if a Democrat did it, and he condemned Venezuela when Donald Trump did it. And yeah, there is no way you can honestly watch that Alex Preddy video and think that he ever was anything like a threat. I don't even think he cursed. I don't even think he swore at anybody. And this actually makes me sad when I think about it, that they interviewed the woman he was trying to help. And while they had him on his knee, and she said he looked up at her and made eye contact with her, and it was like he was asking, like checking to see she was okay. Like he was still thinking about her while they were executing him. The GOP are expert gaslighters and victim blamers. Oh, I keep accidentally scrolling back up. Benny Johnson. Did you know his middle name is Issa? Like Daryl Issa? It's Benny Issa Johnson. No, it's not really. But he is a Johnson. I don't know whatever is BSing there. Muppets. So you like the MAGA Muppets, huh? That one kind of just that was spontaneous utterance. You don't like you all don't want to talk anything. I don't know what we don't want to talk about, Carl. Feel free to tell us what we don't want to talk about. What was 5 years ago? I don't. Oh, the COVID. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's what. There is no compromise. What is the leftist? I don't know. They're the ones bringing up the whole COVID thing. I don't know.
We don't want a civil war. We just don't want fascism. We're not the one hating everybody, Carl. We are the ones that want everybody to have an opportunity. You are the ones that are working towards genocide and ethnic cleansing and separation of families and just shooting random Americans on the street, period.
Can't.
Sorry.
I agree. There's a comment there. He says there is no reason to work with the left, but I can't put it on the screen for some reason. But whatever. Carl is obviously not a very intelligent person. Dude, Carl, the GOP have a trifecta. They control the federal government. What are they complaining about? He gone and nobody cares. Well, I do think people care. I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious that a lot of people care. Actually, Donald Trump is the one that forced the experiment on us. Donald Trump was the one that was the president when the vaccine was developed. You seem to have forgotten that. It's like, have you noticed there's like, how we talked about the Schrodinger's liberal and Schrodinger's immigrant. Here's another one for you. Schrodinger's 2020. Like whoever, it's like, it's incredible how many things that happened in 2020 were Biden's fault. But it all depends on what you want, who was president. You all polled to lock people up for not taking it. There was not a single person was ever locked up for not taking the virus or the vaccine. And I don't know what polled means. I don't know what you're like. What I don't even understand what you're talking about, Carl. Dude had a gun and he had a Second Amendment right to carry it. Dictator Trump and Diddy cellmates. This is what I once had this idea. Too bad it never panned out, but I wanted to do like a cartoon where it was actually Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump as cellmates. And the whole premise of the show is they're both in prison and they end up getting put in the same cell. And the title, the name of the show would be The Fraud Couple. And, like the first show, they have to go meet with the white supremacists. But Rudy Giuliani needs his hair dye, right? And so, are you trying to talk? So, Rudy Giuliani needs his hair dye, and so he makes toilet hair dye and puts it on his hair. And then Donald Trump asks if he can make some orange tan solution for him. But then he accidentally puts on the orange, the hair dye on his skin right before he goes to meet with the white supremacists, and hilarity ensues and everything. Anyway. Looks like Kitty is watching something on TV. Did something happen, Kitty?
Yeah, I got a text from my kids that are so there's a problem with our front door real quick. So I'm just getting my boss to go address it real quick.
All right.
Front in Tampa. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
No worries. All right. So Preddy and the CBP had a clash a few days prior. They broke one of Preddy's ribs. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I mean, there's just the whole thing with Preddy. He was not a threat to kill anybody when they killed him. And that's all you need to know. Everything else is irrelevant. He was not a threat, so he was executed. You all just hate. Well, no, we don't. You hate us. You're sitting there saying that we don't even have a right to say anything. And you're like, oh, you guys are just hate, as you're sitting there just spewing nothing but hate. You are too far gone to meet in the middle of a compromise. He's too far gone to know what compromise is. Pick up a book. Random. I am Moat E. I am smarter. Took you 2 tries to get that sentence out right. I don't think you are. Explain to me how Pretty's situation is killing a random. I don't. Oh, that's. Yeah, and you know what happened if you with the mandates? There was no criminal prosecution for it, Carl. All the mandate was that you had to get the vaccine if you worked for federal contractors. I mean, and agree with that or disagree with that, but that's hardly the same thing as going out and murdering people on the city streets. And when it was overturned by the Supreme Court, he gave it up. Dems did not force the jabs. They encourage that, like, vaccines saved lives, number one, instead of like framing this argument as force the mandates. They didn't force anything. They didn't have people held down and jab them. You know who did force vaccines? Experimental vaccines, by the way? It was George Washington in the Revolution. And I don't mean he just made sure that all the soldiers got it. They didn't actually have vaccines like shots yet. But what they did have, and this is really fascinating because I didn't know this until I just did some research on it recently. But when this actually goes back thousands of years, but it wasn't something that we were doing in Western culture until relatively recently. At the time, is they would take, when somebody got smallpox, it started off in China probably, but it was also, they did that in Africa and basically everywhere except here where there was smallpox. They did it in China, they did it in Africa. And what would happen is when you got smallpox, they would pop the sore and they would put the stuff from the sore, they would keep that and they would dry it out, and then they'd crush it into a powder, and then they'd blow that powder up people's noses. And then that powder would give them a small infection, and most of the time people would survive it. Now, like 98, 99% of the time people would survive it. 1 or 2% of the time people would die. But that's like versus 30 or 40% of the time people would die when they got infected, because it would just give them a more mild infection. And so it saved a lot of lives. And in the Revolution, the British troops actually had more immunity because they lived in smaller communities or larger communities, and so they had been more likely been exposed and survived before. The Americans, smallpox was not that common here. And so a lot of the American troops were getting it. And so what happened is they were dying, and George Washington is like, we're not going to win this war if we don't do something about it. And so he mandated that everybody had to get the vaccine. Then he would, even if you didn't want it, he would hold you down. He would have people hold people down and blow it up their nose. And he would wait until people were asleep, and then he would mandate, like he would have people go around and blow it up your nose while you were sleeping when you didn't even know it. All right. So that's forcing a vaccine on people. And you know what happened because he did that is we won the revolution. We probably would not have won the Revolutionary War if he did that, if he didn't do that. Anyway, you want to talk about, vaccine mandates? That's a vaccine mandate. And we exist as a country because of that vaccine mandate. Next thing, he'll call him a paid protester. Probably. There is no evidence to substantiate the and that avoid. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. And I don't think it's really relevant one way or the other, because it had nothing to do with that instant, that moment. All that matters is in that moment, he was never a threat. Ask Meatloaf about not being vaccinated. Oh, wait, he died from COVID. There's a lot of people that didn't get vaccinated. There was a website, I can't remember what it was, of people that had these like really public stances about not being vaccinated, and that ended up dying of COVID. And it was like, oh, are you back? If you just pop yourself back on screen if you want to go back on. It was like Trump. Ooh. Looking at your link here. I'm gonna try and catch up with the comments and then. So, Carl, do you have anything of value to contribute to the conversation, or do you just want to sit there and just shout MAGA slogans? Did you see they moved the doomsday clock more? Oh, no, I did not. Well, he didn't technically. This is one of those things that I find ironic, is they'll get very, very sensitive if you say something like he said to drink bleach. He didn't say drink bleach. He said, and they'll leave it at that. They won't say what he actually said. What was the actual quote? Hang on. What was the exact? The exact quote wasn't any better. I mean, it was kind of like sarcastically turned into drink bleach, but something about disinfectant, right? And it was actually, if you watch the press conference part of it, what's her name? The not Fauci, but there was the other person that was in charge. And you can watch her face while he's talking about this, and it's just kind of like the facial expression spanning from what the F is he talking about to how the F am I going to handle this? And then there were people like poison control caused like doubled when he said it. And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in 1 minute. And there is a way we can do something like that by injection inside, or almost a cleaning, because you get it, sees the lungs, and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. When a reporter followed up asking him whether bleach or isopropyl alcohol would be injected into people, Trump responded, it wouldn't be through injection. We're talking about through almost a cleaning, a sterilization of an area. So like, it was very, very dumb. Like there was no actual discussion anybody had ever had about somehow putting Huh. I just lost all my comments. Okay. I don't know what happened. Hello, I just found your channel. Yes, they moved the Doomsday Clock 85 seconds to midnight. Oh, well, they're back. Okay. So, why did they move it? A year ago, here, let me put this. Well, a year ago, we warned that the world was perilously close to the global disaster and that any delay in reversing course increased the probability of so because they didn't do anything. Rather than heed this warning, Russia, China, the United States, and other major countries have instead become increasingly aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic. Hard-won global understandings are collapsing, accelerating a winner-takes-all, great power concentration, and undermining the international cooperation critical to reducing the risks of nuclear war, climate change, the misuse of biotechnology, the potential threat of artificial intelligence, and other apocalyptic dangers. Far too many leaders have grown complacent and indifferent in many ways, adopting rhetoric and policies that accelerate rather than mitigate the existential threats. Because of this failure of leadership, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, Science and Security Board today set the doomsday clock at 85 seconds to midnight, the closest it has ever been to a catastrophe. So this is closer than it was like during Bay of Pigs. I don't know how much that means, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's very Nobel Peace Prize. It's funny that he acts like he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize when he's just pushing every kind of conflict and war he can. And leading the international organization made a statement to normalization of fascism of Americans. And it's like too many MAGAs do not know what fascism is. Like they go, oh, define fascism. And it's like as soon as somebody says define fascism, you know they don't know what fascism is, because fascism isn't like easy to define. It's been 2 minutes to midnight since it's been 2 minutes to midnight since the 60s. Wow. So it moved up over 30 seconds. Yeah. And they wonder why people don't want to have kids. Carl must not live in America. If he's an adult human and not a bot, he would have had all the inoculations in school. It's like people do not understand that vaccines are good for you. I love one of my favorite anti-vax talking points is I prefer natural immunity, as though the immunity derived from vaccines is like a different kind of immunity. Like I think they think like that somehow the vaccine combats the virus and not your blood cells or something. Because I'm new here. You're the new kid on the block. Government school, let me knows. But thank you for being new here. Thanks for joining the channel. You clearly don't know what fascism is. I do actually know what fascism is. I've studied it quite a bit. Authoritarian cult of personality, lack of free speech sums it up pretty much. those are a lot of it. There's also like the whole nationalism is a big part of it. Scapegoating certain groups of people is a big part of it. But like when they talk about Democrats being fascists, that's something I find ironic or kind of funny, because the one thing I wish we had is a personality we could form a cult around. They used to say that about Obama, but there's not really like any one person that we fixate on, and we certainly don't build statues of anybody and pray to them at conferences like the Republicans do. Now, Trump, on the other hand, they literally, there's like literal actual footage of people praying to a golden idol of Trump, which is sort of like not only nationalist, but it's also just a wee bit non-Christian, which is funny because they consider themselves Christian too. We need a fascism PowerPoint. I need to do it. I did a whole couple of shows on what fascism is and examples of fascism, but that was before the show got traction. So I should do something again. That's a good idea. Like proof that Donald Trump is a fascist. Anti-vax is some billionaires funded propaganda BS. And yeah, and it's just kind of, I don't know. There's this weird subculture, right-wing subculture, and some of it is valid. Like with like a lot of this is with the homeschooling trad wife, anti-government stuff, and like what I just. There's some people, I just feel like sometimes people just need to talk to each other. But there's a lot of hate out there. Oh yeah, nationalism too. Like America first is and make America great again. Those are like actual fascist slogans. And by themselves, it wouldn't be fascist. But when you combine it with everything else, and now there's like this there's been a lot of discussion about the what's the word I'm looking for? The campaign, the advertising campaign for ICE and DHS is a lot of these things are they're leaning hard into fascist rhetoric and Nazi propaganda and stuff like the same kind of the same kind of ideology that the Nazis use, like the defend the homeland and talking about our way of life. I don't know if you can, Kitty, if you can see this has come up. This is like there's been stuff like this before, but it's been kind of amplified. There's something recently that has come out. I don't remember exactly what but there's like a whole advertising campaign. So now we're actually using taxpayer money to send out fascist propaganda to recruit fascist people to go and execute a fascist agenda. It's like when they call us commies when Trump is doing all the commie things like profit from the government and control what businesses do. Yeah. And they've been calling us commies for like 40 years. But if we call them fascists, then it's like, that's too far. But they've been calling us fascists for 40 years. If you think, like if you believe in public education, you're a fascist. Yeah, there's kind of like there's a good solid kind of Google definition, but it's not like communism, where like the fascism is a type of government that usually has these certain characteristics, is how you would define it. It's not like communism, where it's like the ideology of fascism isn't encapsulated. There's no specific ideology of fascism. You can say it's like right wing or authoritarian, but with like, what is the definition of communism is that the government owns the form, or owns the means of distribution of production distribution, right? That's like the standard definition, where there's the ideology itself has an encapsulation, versus the execution ends up having certain manifestations, is typically how fascism gets explained. Yeah, the Nazi. Yeah, the irony of that, Nazi is a National Socialist in German, right? And the irony of that is that the Nazis, there was a National Socialist Party that the Nazis took over. They assumed that party. They didn't assume the ideology. They just took over that party, and then they used that, but they were not socialists. In fact, the famous poem, it starts off, first they came for the communists and nobody stood up for me, and then they came for the socialists. Like, the socialists were the second people they came for. So they were persecuting socialists. They were persecuting socialists before they were persecuting Jews. So that's not a very socialist thing to do. Government school, let me know. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I think it's supposed to be some snarky comment about government school. You clearly don't know what fascism. So we're back there. All right, so just like when they. All right, so there we go. We found it. Fascism versus communism, maybe. Something I'd like to, like, I say I'd like to have more conversations and less arguments. And this kind of goes into what I was talking about earlier about what is government supposed to do. Like, we talk about far left and far right, and it seems like right now everything is either far left or far right. I mean, there's no moderate left, at least ideologically speaking. Like, people say I'm a moderate, and then it's like everything they agree with is either the Republicans or the Democrats, or it's all depend on how much you vote. Like, is Fetterman a moderate because he's a Democrat that sometimes votes with Republicans, or is that like, anyway, want to think like, what is a moderate view on healthcare versus an extreme view on healthcare? Is healthcare for all is that the actual extreme view, or is we should ration healthcare based on your employment status and your income? Is that the extremist view? Some people might say rationing healthcare based on your financial situation is extremist. We need to have, and what is a moderate moderate position on things? When we talk about extremist as don't agree with me, there's no variety I would like to have more discussions about where there's more than two options to choose from, and if you don't choose from your option, then you're an extremist. And I even, like on infrastructure or AI or whatever, like we need to have more actual conversations about what we should do instead of just my side versus your side and trying to beat people up with our opinion. You can't trust them with forks. They'll stab themselves. I see that the same defined fascism question in a lot of MAGA bots. Yeah, I'm not sure what relevance it has, but it comes up a lot. They act like it's if you can't define it, then somehow that proves I'm not. You just don't know what you're talking about. You're just repeating what the liberals say, and it's like, okay, well, So I even made a video for a while as my pinned post. It was like a 10-minute video defining exactly what fascism is, and then they would always just say, "Yeah, you're an idiot." Like they would never actually have a conversation about fascism. If you try to answer the question, they'll never engage in discussion. Trust the lab coats, definitely not billions behind their agenda. Yeah, that's hollow rhetoric. Not everybody that gets into trying to find cures for diseases is an evil person. Can someone please tell me? And it's not the lab coats you have to worry about when it comes to anything. It's the people that are paying the people in the lab coats that you have to worry about. Can someone please tell me what the policies they have that are pro-life? Well, they're anti-abortion ones. Repetition is the key. How are you, by the way? Fascism, yeah, this is the one. Authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and subordination of individual interests. So that's what I mean. Is like it'll tell you about the characteristics more than the ideology. Versus communism, you define it by the ideology, not the characteristics. They also say, Nazism. Okay, yeah. Glad you feel that way. I saw your comment that you didn't, weren't going to come back until things settled down. Actually, that was what prompted me to let Kitty take over as moderator of the chat, because I really enjoy your chat. Same thing when Obama was in office, over 50 killed and tens of millions of illegals deported. So cry to someone else because you were all for Obama. Do you really think this is about deporting people that are here illegally, Deadfall? Have you heard anybody ever say we shouldn't deport people that are here illegally? Is that the issue? That's not the issue. That's the problem is you don't even know what the issues are. You just regurgitate Donald Trump talking points, and you have no desire to engage in honest conversation or discourse. Almost too slow without bots and trolls. The internet is crickets. I wonder if there's some, like, there's just less enthusiasm for having these discussions. Like right now, I think there's a lot of people that are actually the whole thing with Preddy. I think that's got some people that actually have souls still that they are in ownership of. Watch that man get executed like that. That they're saying, this is too much. And it's also like here, Kitty has done some serious blocking. And we're not, for anybody that is we've only got like a half dozen people in here right now, but for anybody that's here and just wondering, we don't block people for disagreeing. We block people for using racist language and stuff like that, but or for being obvious troll bots. I don't want to pay for some bum's healthcare that doesn't do anything better for his life, but I'll help out a hardworking man or woman who meets it and wants to improve their life. Well, how do you know who is who? Cole? We want to, like, let's talk. Which one is which to you? What makes somebody a bum, and what makes somebody hardworking? And how do you know who is who? And here's another question for you: what does bum mean? Like, does that mean unemployed? Like, how many people like do you feel like fit this category? And then, is being unemployed, should that be a death sentence? Like if you get cancer and you're unemployed? What about people that are, say, they're not, this is one of the loopholes about the whole disability versus employment thing, is if you're on Medicare or Medicaid, let's say you're poor and you're on Medicaid, then you have to work. But if you can work, you can't get disability. So what if you're too sick to work? What do? You can't get Medicaid because you're not working. Then you have to stay alive for a year before you can even apply for disability. How do you do that without any money? So you get all these people that are just trying to survive one day to the next. What about them? Are they bums? Do they deserve to die? Like, what does that mean? And why? Why is it that you're okay, like you don't want your taxpayer money going to that, but you're okay with your taxpayer money going to beat the crap out of American citizens on the street and put bullets in their body? Like, why is it that you feel like this is the thing that is really where your taxpayer money shouldn't go? Why is that so critical? Like, I feel like we don't have honest conversations about these things. Oof, I'll probably be gone before they return. Yeah, at least I can get my points out. And typically I've kind of moved over into the slideshows things that make it easier to like have a normal conversation, which is what I'm trying to do for, like, I think we're making progress in building up the show with more real people and regular people. And we've had like up to around 50 people in here having a good conversation. Millions of us Mexicans don't think Trump is a fascist. We want a president like Trump. Okay, well, that's very fine. And, I honestly don't believe that you're in Mexico, and I honestly don't believe that that's the way the majority of Mexico feels. But even if I'm wrong, even if you really are, that doesn't really have anything to do with the conversation. If you're in Mexico, guess what? Your opinion on who the president is doesn't matter. I think it was just a one-shot statement that was already cut, paste, and ready to go. Good for, and thank you for showing me the typer, the human you are. Yeah. She needs a good snort laugh every now and then. I would think you could afford a good YouTube account with a profile content, but I'm not judging. Calm down, Nancy. The sky ain't falling. I know you would rather have Kamala in charge. I don't know who's afraid right now of any. What are you talking about, Lee? This is just like everything has just got to be confrontational with MAGA. Like you can't have an actual conversation where you like exchange ideas and thoughts and substance and reality. It's just got to be just a confrontation and denialism and anger, and then it's like the Democrats are causing all the division. And then you've always got to come in with words like they've liked to use the word imported, like whatever that means. No, nobody, we're not 20 million people imported. There aren't 20 million people here. We've been through all this. All right, I thought you were here for all this. Why do you continue to perpetuate lies that I've already debunked on this show when you are here watching the show when I debunked them? There are not 20 million. If there were 20 million people that came into the country while Joe Biden was president, legal or illegal, there were 20 million more people here right now than there were in 2020, you would know there are not more than 20. There's not 20 million more people here. That's just not true. Like, if you honestly believe that, then you are honestly not a very thoughtful person. I'm supposed to be nicer. Mary said I can't say stupid. My wife said I can't say stupid. So I'm just going to say you're not thoughtful if you think that there's 20 million illegal immigrants running around. There's not even a total of 20 million, much less 20 million more. Why are people so stuck on Kamala still? Wasn't that because they have to just stick to the same talking points? Hey, Patsy.
I'm your Luther. Remember, I sent you a video. Do you remember Key and Peele? Did you ever watch that show?
Oh,
do you remember Obama's angry translator? That's what you're up front being all sweet and Mr. Rogers, and I'm back here like.
So. Oh, okay. So let's try that. If you let's try this. She's going to be my anger translator. All right. So I'm going to say, if you honestly believe that there are 20 million more illegal immigrants here than there were before Joe Biden was elected president, you're not a very thoughtful person.
Dude, what the hell do you have in your head? Is that feces? Is it vomit? Is it puke? Because there is something not functioning here. Maybe you need a cranial anal ectomy. Are you a product of Trump schools?
Trump University.
Trump University. That's where I should have gone with it. Oh, you graduated Trump University.
That's a good one. So I'll just leave you there, and if I need some anger translation, I will. I'm trying to like cranial anal. I like because it's like you get to both with the same drill, right? Like you got to go through the butt to get to the head because that's where their head is at. So do you pay for other people's bad health decisions? So you pay for them either way. And it's like, what do you mean health decision? Okay. Respectfully, what kind of health decision is it to get sick? Do you think people make that decision? They go, gee, I think I'm going to get cancer. Anger translator, feel free to weigh in.
They're referring to trans for all. I know that's what they're referring to. That's where that's lubricating into the trans for all.
Oh.
And what the hell is wrong with you that you would just let people off and die because it would cost you an extra 5 cents a year so that somebody might actually be able to be well? Do you not understand that other people are important for our infrastructure, like other nurses and doctors? What if the person who is going to save your kid's life is the person that is sick and needs healthcare, but can't access it, so now they're gonna die? I mean, really, like, think about the fact that we are not isolated individuals. We actually all belong to systems, moron. And you don't get, we all have to work together if you want to be functional. History has showed us this all the time. Please go get an education and take a civics exam.
And just one other thing on that is you're paying for it either way. Like if you're paying for insurance, if somebody goes and they have a bad health decision that requires life-saving emergency care, that insurance company or that emergency room can't bill it to anybody. So do you know what they do? Is they either one, the government pays for it, which there's a part of the money, so then you'd be paying for it with your taxes. The part they don't pay for, the part the government doesn't pay for, people that are insured pay for, because the hospital still has to absorb that loss. And so what they do is they just pass it on to the insurance companies, and the insurance companies passes it on to you. So you're paying for it either way. But what happens is if you have a universal health care where everybody is paying into the system, that spreads that cost out over more people. So it actually means you're paying less for people's bad healthcare decisions if you have universal care. That's
And
why we
universal
spend
care
more
is not-
money than any country in the world per capita on healthcare.
well, not only that, but universal health care is non-for-profit. So you're not running around cutting people's benefits in order to make more money.
Bingo. MAGA can't grasp the concept that us libs do want criminals deported, but don't want a military causing chaos in the streets to deport people who are not criminals. It's just like, actually, what I find incredible about this whole thing is that the people who aren't getting arrested are the criminals. The people who ICE is grabbing aren't the criminals. Only 8.5% of the people that have been nabbed off of the streets in Minnesota are actually violent criminals. The other 92.5% are not criminals. And by the way, a lot of them aren't illegal immigrants either. Like, it's just dumb. We could have like 1/20th of the size of the operation and be more effective if we actually just went after the criminals. Yeah, that's true. The Preddy thing was bad politics, not clear cut like Renee. I don't think Renee was clear cut either. To me, she was trying to avoid him. I think that the majority of Americans look at it that way. I don't think most Americans look at her and say that she was trying to kill him. And I think that's pretty obvious, but I know that there are some MAGAs that honestly have been duped into thinking that she was trying to kill him. But there's just too much realistically you have to look at. But with Preddy, it's just brutal. It was the number of people just ganging up on him, the guy pistol whipping him, all of that kind of stuff. The fact that you can hear him say, "Are you okay?" Like that's all he's worried about is her. That poor woman that they were beating up with. Which, by the way, they never even arrested her. So, like they're like, "Oh, he was detained, he was interfering with an operation." Then why didn't they arrest her after it was over? Why didn't they arrest her? If that's what they were doing, why didn't they arrest her? They didn't they didn't arrest anybody in that thing. But now there's a criminal investigation into Preddy because he got murdered wrong. Like they're investigating him. Like, how sick is that? Trump is a coward and not a leader at all. He is absolutely a coward and not a leader at all. No sports then because people could get injured or disabled. I don't understand I don't understand the reference. The criminals are getting pardons. Yeah. And the worst of the worst, right? The guy that has like $100 million or the guy what was
Guy
not,
who sold child pornography online.
Yeah.
But we know that this administration really loves pedophiles. It's their favorite.
I think it was 400. I want to say 400 million tons of cocaine smuggled into the country, Juan Orlando Hernandez. Even if they're legal migrants, who cares? A country can deport anyone that isn't a citizen. Well, but it can't. And also, I mean, there's actual laws that have to be passed here. There's actual due process, and it's not about deportations. It's not. It's about the rule of law and following the rule of law. And the thing is if when you start going down this road, and I really wish you would honestly think about this. I may need some anger translation here, but if you honestly think about this, really sincerely think about this. If you have anybody at all that can be deported without due process, then anybody at all can be deported without due process. If I just say, okay, if you're not a citizen, you can be deported without any due process, then that means I can tab anybody, whether they're a citizen or not, and deport them saying they're not a citizen. And the only means that you would have of proving you're a citizen is through due process. So since you don't have due process, you have no means to prove you are a citizen. All right.
Hey,
So
moron, if they can go and pick up anybody, that means they can come for white people too. So maybe you should think about that a little bit. Due process means, like, none of us are running around hang Trump, hang Trump. We're all running around like, let's go impeach. Let's go through the trial. Let's do things appropriately.
So they just announced that if Kristi Noem does not resign by the end of the week, they will be filing for impeachment and have enough votes to get it. Oh, here, that reminds me of something I wanted to. I had some people tell me that this was too nice, but it made her look too cute. Here's another meme. I've been playing with some memes lately. So here's one. This is Kristi Noem. What do you think? Oh, we can. It's Kristi Noem. Hey, look, it's Kristi Noem. But some people said that she's too nice, and then somebody like else. I posted this on Blue Sky, and somebody else edited it so that she's got the shovel there, and like over by the shovel, there's a little tombstone that says "Rest in peace, Cricket." That was like, that's why she has the shovel, because she had to bury Cricket. Anyway. Oh, look at you. Kristi Noem is like a box of chocolates. Both will kill your dog. Oh, that's funny. All right. I like that one. Okay. Even if they're okay. And it's like, the other thing is we get so caught up in the legal immigrants or illegal immigrants. What about just our place as human beings? The fact, like, let's say that you're a 15-year-old kid, you were born and raised here. Your parents came over here illegally like 20, 25 years ago. It wasn't even a crime that when they came over. All right. And then your dad was illegal. Your mom is legal. You're not. Your dad's not. And then you're like 15 years old, 10 years old, something like that. And all of a sudden your dad is getting deported. And so now you don't have a father. You've lost the main source of income for your family. You haven't done anything wrong. As a human being, you lose your dad. Isn't there any compassion, any sense of decency or human decency there? Oh, well, they shouldn't have been here in the first place. So what? That doesn't, two wrongs don't make a right. Like, making somebody else suffer is not going to resolve anything. Oh, hang on. I lost my place. Where the... Oh, yeah, the former ByteDance guy. He's that's where they get all their the guy that was ByteDance. This one's interesting. Is he actually was the he was he was like a big crypto guy, and he would launder money for the cartels, including the same cartel that Hernandez was working with. And so he got pardoned, and then after he got pardoned, his company, the crypto company, made the Trump crypto coin. I forget what it's called, Trump coin or whatever, and it's worth billions of dollars now. So, and we're supposed to believe that was all just coincidence. Silk Road guy, I seem to vaguely recall something about that, but I don't know. But Donald Trump is so far and away the most corrupt president in history. I honestly, if we survive, like the world and the planet and the country all survive somehow this next 4 years, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes before we find out the depth of his corruption. And I really think we need to start prosecuting people. I think with Nixon and his illegal stuff never getting prosecuted, Reagan should have been prosecuted for the whole Iran-Contra thing. He gets a walk on that. He shouldn't. Like, we need to start prosecuting and convicting presidents of crimes that they commit. Because otherwise, you're just telling people that they can do whatever they want. Of course, now the Supreme Court's done that anyway. Just dress it up as an official act and it's fine. I will judge others. Hey, do you know this person? I will judge others for their crime the minute that Trump stops committing them. And now it's just like, you're not allowed to ever criticize Trump about anything because somebody else can criticize Obama about something. It's like such a stupid, I'm not allowed to say stupid. It's such a vacant.
Bull poop?
Huh?
Bull poop?
Bull poop. There you go. And such a bull poop argument. Until then, there is no rule of law. There's not. Would be unbelievable if it wasn't true. Resistance kitty. So, okay. So, you know what I'm going to do now, Kitty? Did you have something?
I sent the private text. They just announced that if Noam doesn't resign by the end of the week, that they will be filing the impeachment paperwork. They have enough votes for impeachment, and they say they have enough votes for removal in the Senate.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's what they said.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That second part is shocking. But I think that's what I'm saying. Like when I was saying, I think the Preddy one is hitting different. And it's not just like it's such a clear murder. And then the way that they're covering it up. Like it's such a clear cover up. Like the one guy they put in charge of the investigation is like famous for covering things up. And then they take it away from the FBI. They have Minnesota like saying, oh, you can't destroy evidence. It's so like, why do you need a court order saying that you can't destroy evidence if you're not worried evidence is being destroyed?
Well, let's talk about the Epstein files. Why does a law that's passed need to have consequences directly written in the law for you to follow the law?
Yeah, especially if you're the attorney general. But what? Absolutely. I'm not a lip reader, but I know what you said. It's insane. Yeah, World Liberty Financial. That's the right one. Thanks, Thorne. So yeah, that'll be interesting. But you know what I'm going to do in a few minutes here, Kitty? I'm going to go eat some bread. I made I pulled out some fresh milled flour bread out of the oven before I started. It should be all nice and cooled off. You said you've had fresh milled flour or bread from fresh milled flour before, right? You've made it. It is just, man, it tastes so good. This weekend, I hit 162, which is what I weighed on my wedding day, which was back in May 31st, 1999. So almost 28 years. Well, yeah. This year will be my 28th anniversary, I think. 27th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I was this is the least I've weighed since then.
Wow.
And I haven't even been on a diet at all. All I did was just eliminate processed foods, including processed flour. I just mill my own flour and make my own bread, make my own pasta, I'll make pies, I make cookies, I make stuff that's like bad for you. But the milled flour does two things. Is first of all, it's got like actual stuff in it that helps you digest food. Like the bran and stuff, it gives you more fiber. I had like digestion problems for 20 years, where I'd get like the trots like 4 or 5 times a week. I had like 8 colonoscopies and 6 endoscopies, and was just like going through all kinds of stuff. And then I just gave up on it and just figured that was a part of life. But since I started eating took a couple of weeks, maybe about a month of just like solid fresh milled flour, my digestion started to clear up. And I was just like, it took me, even after once it cleared up, was just so shocking that I didn't even notice it at first, like a couple of weeks later. But anyway, so I get like there's the good stuff you're eating and there's the bad stuff you're not eating. So there's a video I made about how to move over to fresh milled flour on my YouTube page. So if anybody wants to, like learn about it and get into it, it's really cool. But yeah, I'm going to go eat my bread from fresh milled flour. It's so good. It's so soft. It's so yummy that and I can smell it still. Doesn't the smell of fresh baked bread just like one of the top 5 smells in the universe?
It absolutely is.
Like,
it absolutely is.
I just love it.
All right. Well, enjoy your bread. I'm going to go finish my princess dinner.
Okay. Enjoy it. I'll see you later, Miss Chat. Bye.
Bye.